Now today I thought I'd make up a lamb stew. Now this is nice and simple to do, all in one pot, cook it in the oven, and when it comes out you've got something delicious and the meat is just melt in your mouth. So give it a go. So for making up this stew, I'm just going to go through the ingredients I'm going to use. Now I've got all my ingredients laid out. Now meat wise, I'm going to be using lamb neck fillets. I've got 1 kilogram. Now, these are really nice in the stew. Cook them until they're sort of nice and soft and tender, melt in your mouth. Now, if you're going down the butcher's, obviously, you know, if you can't get the neck fillets or they're too expensive, ask them what they've got on special offer that is ideal for making a stew where the meat turns out melt in your mouth. Season that with salt and pepper. Now, I've also got some plain flour, probably about 3 tablespoons of that. The reason we're using that, it just slightly thickens up the stew. Now I've also got some pancetta. This is smoked pancetta, 250 grams. So again, you fry that up, it just adds a wonderful flavour and it all comes together and oh, it's delish. Now vegetable wise, I've got some carrots. Now, good handful of carrots. I'll probably just wash those, you know, rub them under cold water, chop the ends off, chop them into nice chunky bits, leave the skin on with those ones. Now shallots, like little mini onions, peel that, chop them up, add those in with the leek. Now with the leek, chop the end off and the sort of dark green bit, just slice them down the middle, run them under cold water because sometimes in the layers you get little bits of dirt. So wash those out and again you chop them up, chunky bits, add those in with the shallots, and also I've got some, you know, 3 cloves of garlic. So peel those, chop them down because garlic goes really wonderful with lamb. Now, got some mushrooms there. These are button mushrooms. What I did was took them out of the packet, used a bit of tissue just to wipe them down. So if you've got a little bit of dirt on there, just wipe them down. Don't try and peel them because it's not worth it. Rosemary, fresh rosemary. I took that out of the garden, got a couple of sprigs. Just sort of strip those down, add them in because rosemary goes so well with lamb. Fresh thyme, again, strip them down, add those in, along with some parsley. This is dried parsley, 1 teaspoon of that. 3 or 4 bay leaves, that'll give a nice aromatic flavour to it all. Beef stock. Now with the beef stock, obviously use whatever you normally use that you like using. I'm going to use 1 cube with roughly about 350 millilitres of boiling water. Wine. Now with the wine, I'm going to add that in. If you don't want to use the wine, you could just add an extra bit of stock. But I'm going to use roughly half a bottle of a wine that you'd actually drink. So 350 millilitres of a good red wine. Lee Perrin's Worcester sauce, good splash of that, wonderful in stews. Now we've also got sunflower oil, just to fry it all off, get it on its way. So really that's all the ingredients. Nice simple ingredients, but it makes a really nice stew. So get it all together and enjoy. So I've come over to the hob, I've got everything prepared, all chopped up, washed, ready to go. Keeps your life nice and simple. Now for cooking this lamb stew, I've got my cast iron pot with a lid. Now if you haven't got one of those, don't worry, just use whatever you would normally use, a good sized pot with a lid that you can cook stew. Now take the lid off. Now I'm going to start off with some oil. So let's just put a little bit of oil in there. You want enough to be able to brown the meat off. Now switch the heat on and say round about medium heat. Now I'm going to season the lamb, so put some freshly ground salt or you know whatever salt you got. A bit of that on. Now also with the freshly ground black pepper, I actually crushed some because it just, you know, I want a little bit extra and it takes forever in that little machine I've got. So put a good bit of black pepper like that. So I've used my pestle and mortar to crush it up. Now wait until that comes up to heat and then we're going to start with the pancetta and then go straight in with the lamb. That's it, just starting to smoke. So put the pancetta in there. Quickly mix that around. Turn the heat down if you think it's just a little bit too high. That's it. And then I'm going to go in with the lamb. give that a quick mix around. And what you really want to do is just get a little bit of colour on the lamb. So again, turn it up a little bit. So I say roughly about a medium heat. Now I've had the lamb cooking in total about 10 minutes, just getting a bit of colour on there. Now what I'm going to do is take that out and I'm going to put that into a separate bowl. So I'll carry on transferring that into the bowl. Now just taking all the meat out of there, so that's good. Still got it fairly nice and hot. Now I'm going to put the leeks and the shallots in there. So pop those in. Yeah, just give them a move around. Now don't worry about any of these bits on the bottom of the pan because that's flavour, and we're going to put some wine and stock in and it's going to lift it all off anyway. So just keep mixing that around. I'd say about 5 minutes just to slightly soften those down. So I've been cooking those for about 5 minutes. Just going to put in the garlic and then we can go straight in with the plain flour. Again, give that a mix around. You want to get the flour in any of the oil and the fat that's left, and that's going to help to thicken it up. So just move that around. I'd say, 30 seconds to a minute, and then what we can do is put the red wine in there. Oh, look at that, bottom of that pan. Lovely flavours are going to come out of that. Now, let's go in with the red wine. So I'm going to use about half a bottle, a little bit more, yeah. That's it. Again, keep the heat, up a little bit at this point because you're putting cold liquid in there. And what I'd say is, want to just cook that off a little bit. Probably just for a couple of minutes on a fairly high heat, and then we can go in with the stock. That's it, I've left that a couple of minutes. Straight in with the stock. Again, just give it a little mix around. And also, I'm going to put some of that Worcester sauce, Lee Perrins Worcester sauce. That's it, good splash. Move that around. Bring it up to the boil, and then what we'll do is we're going to add in the carrots, and then we're going to add back the meat with all those sort of, nice herbs as well. Now with the meat, I'm just going to put the whole lot back in the pot. Add a little bit of tin foil over it, just, to keep it warm. I've got the bay leaves there. I'll just pop those in. And then we've got the rosemary, the thyme, chopped it up nice and fine, and I'm using a teaspoon of dried parsley. So just put all those in, you can't go wrong, lovely flavours there. I might as well put in the carrots as well. Now let's just turn this down a little bit. And I want to give it all a bit of a move around. Just make sure we've got the right amount of liquid in there. This looks good. You want almost just enough to cover the meat. So try and tuck your meat in the juices. Like that. Now I've also got these button mushrooms. You can have them a little bit later, but I'm just going to put them in now. And I'll probably top up with a little bit of boiling water. So let's just put a little bit extra in there, like that. So that's it, give that all a good squash down. Now what I'm going to do is put a lid on there, and then we're going to place it into a preheated oven. Now I'm just going to place the lamb stew in the oven, and so I've got mine preheated. So let's just place that in. Oh, it's heavy. Now temperature wise, I've got mine at 160 degrees Celsius, which is 325 degrees Fahrenheit, gas mark 3. Now what I'd say is 3 or 4 times if you can, just take the lid off and give it a gentle move around. I would say you probably need to cook for a couple of hours really. Now obviously you're looking to get the meat really nice and tender so it's melting in your mouth. So keep an eye on it. When the meat is perfect, that's the time to serve it up. Now I've been cooking this lamb stew for for 2.5 hours. So slightly more than I said, 2.5 hours, and I think this is going to be really delicious. Now, carefully take the lid off. Oh, look at that. That looks wonderful. Now, I did stir it a few times in the middle of it all, but look at that stew. That looks delicious. Now, let's have a look at the meat. Oh, that is soft, really soft. Look, grab a nice piece there, doing it with a spoon. That is lovely and soft, ready to serve up. So I think what I'm going to do, turn this off, go and serve it up. Oh, delicious. Now I'm just going to serve some of that delicious lamb stew. Try and get a little bit of everything. Oh. Get some of the meat in there. There's plenty of meat in here. Absolutely delicious, and it's starting to fall apart, which definitely means that is going to be melting in your mouth. Oh, now you could obviously serve this with some crusty bread. You know, go and buy whatever crusty bread you like. Now I did make some of these cobblers. They're like scones. The only difference is I took the vanilla extract out and I took the caster sugar out. And then what I did was I added some herbs, a little bit of fresh rosemary, fresh thyme, and also some parsley as well, and some cheese. Good handful of cheese, cheddar cheese, whatever cheese you got. And that really goes well with this beautiful stew. Now, let's just grab one of these cobblers. Oh, break it up. It's like nice fresh bread. Absolutely lovely. Now what I want to do is just try a little bit of this meat, because that is really what a stew's all about, getting the meat nice and soft. Now, look at that. Oh, that is just like breaking up. That is delicious. Let me try this. Oh. That is really good. Really, really good. It's so good, you gotta go and make this. Thanks for watching my videos. I'll see you on the next one. The original naked